And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here? Is this is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You could stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Luther Arnold. Name?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go outplace everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go, we head to Kroger's and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can
first.
you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you gotta get the smile going on some shoes. But
Wait, hold up.
You got-
I gotta
when
try
it's
this
time-
with
when
you.
it- when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try
you
this
gotta
with
think of
you.
something funny
All
and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smizing.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well out there. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. It's a little high and everything. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful, thrilling rest of your Thursday. Mine was nice. I got a chance to chill, watch a movie. I watched a movie, guys. I actually sat down and took some time to watch a movie. Can you believe that? It's amazing. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit because I saw a movie that was that stars Mary J. Blige called Body Cam. And I got some things to say about it. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But anyway, before we dive on in to everything that's going on, definitely comment down below. Let me know that you guys are living the life like it's golden, you know what I'm saying? Let me know that you guys are good out there and everything, because we are going to be talking about something that obviously on the title down below, or if you're watching this on Facebook, the title up above. We definitely need to talk about this this new released body cam and security cam footage of the death, covering the death of Lionel Morris. We are going to be talking about that here very, very shortly. And of course, we're going to look at the video, look at the footage, and then we're going to obviously open it up for discussion because I'd love to hear all of you guys' opinions and thoughts on this situation because it is some serious stuff. It's terrible. It's a sad story, and it's sad footage. The footage is terrible. But one of the things that I have, was thinking about, and I realized on this morning show, I realized how much negativity we've been covering lately on the show. And so I promise you from now on, from this point on, from this show on, we are going to be talking about, we are going to have at least one or two positive things to talk about on the show each day. I don't think it's very hard for us to find some positive things that are going on in the world, but we are going to do that. And that, as God is my witness, we will never go that negative again. I promise you on that. You know what I'm saying? Tanner Vane, what's up, man? Good evening, man. Good evening, Jenny H. Good evening, Nikki. Good evening to Doogie. Good evening, everybody who is starting to tune in. Thank you guys so much for popping on and all of that. That really does mean a lot. But yeah, and speaking of that, there is something that I wanted to say there is something I wanted to show because tomorrow I have somebody that's going to be very special. It's going to be a very awesome interview on the show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And this guy is a hero. Real life hero. He literally, this video is going viral all over. It's getting shared like crazy all over Facebook. He's a St. Louis native, so shout out to my hometown. But this is some crazy stuff. I'm going to show you a little bit of the video because we are going to be showing the full video on the show tomorrow morning. But I want you to see what this guy did. This is some really crazy and amazing stuff. I mean, there are good Samaritans out there. There are real life heroes out there. And there's something that this guy did that I just loved, He rescued a man from a burning vehicle. Real talk. You know what? I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you guys see this video for yourselves. Here we go. Woo. There you go. Wow. Man, beautiful thing, right? Amazing thing. And that guy, the gentleman in the yellow shirt, the hero, the man that saved that man in that car, will be on the show live tomorrow. His name is Antonio Morgan. Antonio Morgan will be with us live on the Pascal Show tomorrow morning during our show. He'll be on at the 10 o'clock hour, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And he's going to be talking about this particular incident and how this incident actually changed his own life. Not only did he save this man's life that was in that car, but this moment was a changing moment in his own life. And now he has been trying to do everything he can to put that positive energy towards something positive, towards more things, trying to help and be a superhero for many, many people. And it's really dope. I'm really looking forward to having him on the show, because one thing that we talked about today is that, damn, we have been getting really, really negative. There's been nothing but negative stuff on this show constantly. And I mean, who can blame us? This is the news. This is what's going on in the news, what's going on in trending topics, what's going on politically. You name it that is negative, we're dealing with it every single day. Even so, we're talking about the one thing that we're going to be talking about here shortly is also a negative and unfortunate thing as well. So every once in a while, we just need to take a little bit of, we need to breathe in a little bit of that positivity. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking forward to having him on. We're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about some things, and it should be a really, really great thing. Another thing is that this is kind of a left turn into negative land, but I'm going to go there. Not New York, Missouri is now considered a hotspot for the coronavirus, which is unfortunate. There have been more cases there have been more single day cases in just the last day or two that they've ever had ever. So now Missouri right now is a hotspot for the coronavirus. Now there's plenty of other places that are getting the same thing, other states that are getting titled or getting stamped with the hotspot stamp. So we are going to obviously keep a very, very close eye on what's going on in regards to the Rona. It's unfortunate. Real talk. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate that it's going on like this. Like I said, I am so tired, personally, so damn tired of talking about this Rona. Real talk. And I wish we can eradicate this thing. I wish that that Dr. Stella Emanuel was not crazy and what she was saying was true. You know what I'm saying? I wish she could just say, hey, take some hydrochloroquine and everything will be solved. Man, I wish that we could, because then we would not have all this craziness going on. You know what I'm saying? But I am hopeful that we'll get through it, y'all. I am very, very hopeful that we'll get through it. Nikki, Angel Gill has been diagnosed with COVID-19. Oh my God. That's terrible. I didn't know. That's terrible news. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, I hope that she's going to be all right. You know, I know that she's been dealing with, at least in the chat, she's been dealing with strokes and all that. So, I mean, I hope that she's going to be all right. I really hope she's going to be all right. I'll say an extra prayer for her tonight. You know, I'll keep her in my prayers for sure. But anyway, we got to jump into this thing. We definitely got to talk about this situation with Lionel Morris. Now, Lionel Morris is someone who was in Arkansas. I'm trying to pull up the actual article. But there has been the body cam footage that has come out recently of body cam footage of the actual arrest, of the incidents, like the actual events that lead all the way up to when he actually gets detained, when he actually gets arrested and they detain him. And we're gonna look at this video. There's different angles to this video. So we're going to look at one main one, which is just where the cops, the police department is giving a full breakdown of what happened. But one of the things that is I find very interesting is that there is a article from Washington Post basically saying the title is if you can talk, you can breathe. And this is what an Arkansas officer tells a man tells Lionel Morris right before he dies, and while he dies in police custody. So the thing is that he was caught, like Morris was in trouble because he was caught in a supermarket shoplifting with a friend. I guess it was his friend or a girlfriend. And they were at the Hops food store, and they were literally caught. They were just literally caught shoplifting, right? And so because of that, of course, what's going to happen? You're going to get arrested. So the cops start to grab him and start to, arrest him, do the things that they do to arrest him. And this gentleman books, like he just takes off. And there's a full-on chase in the supermarket where there's a body cam of, POV body cam footage of this cop chasing him down and tackling him to the ground. This thing escalates even more. He's wrestling the cop. They end up asking him to, obviously they're asking him several times to just put your hands behind your back. We need to arrest you and all that. He does not comply. They shoot him with a taser and they keep tasing him quite a bit. He screams out, my heart, as he's getting tased. This doesn't stop anything. He's still fighting for his life. He's still doing what he needs to do. He's still fighting to get free. Let me just say that again. Let me reiterate. He's not fighting for his life. He's fighting to get free. And so, of course, the cops finally detain him, and they have their knees and feet on his back. And at one point, he says, at many points, he says, I can't breathe. So at one particular moment, which I'm going to show you guys here in a second in this video, he says in a muffled voice, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And then one of the cops said, if you can talk, you can breathe. So they lifted him up. They dressed his wounds because it was a very, very aggressive takedown. Understandably, he ran and he was fighting back like a mug. But they were nursing his wounds. They threw him back into a car. They drove off, and I guess they say he later died from complications due to, they said, methamphetamines and other drugs that were in his system. And of course, because of the tussle that was going on at the same damn time. So we're going to go through this video, one of the first ones, because I find it very interesting. It's like I said, it's like a 7-minute long video, but we're going to watch this one. And then they don't show, from what I've seen, they don't show in this video where the place where he says, I can't breathe. And the cop says, the officer says, if you can talk, you can breathe. But I do have the body cam footage, the full body cam footage, all 45 minutes of this whole thing, ready to go and fired up and ready to go. But first, I want everyone to hear what the police department had to say first. So let's jump into this.
Joining me today is Conway Police Chief William Tapley. In the city of Conway, we are committed to transparency and openness. With that in mind, Chief Tapley is going to share with you the details of an incident that happened earlier in Conway this year. Chief Tapley.
Unfortunately, we're here to talk about an incident that happened in our city February 4th of this year that resulted in the untimely death of 39-year-old Lionel Morris. We as the Conway Police Department and the City of Conway offer our deepest condolences and heartfelt prayers to the Morris family. The loss of a loved one is difficult no matter the circumstances. Before I get into the details of what occurred and the findings of the investigation, I would like to thank the Arkansas State Police and the 20th Judicial District Prosecuting Attorney's Office for their commitment and effort in conducting an independent investigation into the facts of this incident.
Of course, everything's been edited. Fair warning. Ish is about to get real.
At 4:25 p.m. on February 4th,
this is Lionel.
Conway Police received a call about a shoplifting in progress at Hart's Grocery Store on East German Lane. On arrival, officers made contact with two people who were identified by store employees as the shoplifting suspects. After the concealed merchandise was located, officers proceeded to ask both of them to place their hands behind their back. The woman, Brandy Arnold, was placed under arrest, while the man, later identified as Lionel Morris, ran from officers to avoid being taken into custody. Officers caught Morris inside the store, and a struggle ensued that lasted approximately 6.5 minutes.
Gotcha. Help me! Help me! Beat me up! Stop!
During the struggle, officers instructed Morris to submit to arrest nearly 40 times.
Please, sir. No. One more chance. Put him behind the back.
Officers tased Mr. Morris multiple times during the struggle in an attempt to gain control.
Do it now.
No, it's not.
During the incident, Morris said he was in medical distress while continuing to fight for several minutes.
There he is. My heart.
Oh my God. Help me, please.
At one point, Morris reached for a knife in his pocket. As the struggle continued, Morris dragged one of the officers to the ground, positioned himself on top of the officer, and placed the officer in a chokehold.
Man, oh man.
Instead of using deadly force, the officer grabbed the knife and drew it from the immediate area.
Man, oh man.
Approximately 5 minutes into the struggle, more officers arrived on scene and were eventually able to subdue Morris and place him in handcuffs.
Get in here.
A call call for emergency medical services was made by officers before handcuffs were secured.
Hey, where's he bleeding?
His face.
I'm gonna get Madison out. Stop to one, Conway. Get Madison out. Stop. Stop moving. Anybody else missing a... You talking. Where's stop? Stop moving. Stop moving. Did you already check that thing?
I can't breathe.
You can breathe. Chill out. We got
There it is.
We got an ambulance.
You heard that?
No, you're all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip a little bit forward a little bit so we can get to the point.
Put your head down and be still.
I think I might have done that. You got hand sanitizer?
For injuries he sustained. Prior to medical personnel arriving, Morris was placed in a recovery position and began receiving treatment for injuries he sustained during the struggle. Medical professionals arrived and took over care and treatment. Unfortunately, Mr. Morris passed away during transport to the hospital. At the request of the Conway Police Department, Arkansas State Police responded to the scene and started an independent investigation into the incident. This investigation ultimately took several months, interviewed multiple witnesses, reviewed all videos and audio from both Harps and the Conway Police Department, and encompassed the state medical examiner's report. The autopsy and toxicology report determined that Mr. Morris was positive for several drugs, including methamphetamine and morphine.
Of course.
The level of drugs in Mr. Morris's system and the strain he exerted while struggling with the police ultimately contributed to his death.
Wait a second. Repeat that one more time. What did you say?
Including methamphetamine and morphine. The level of drugs in Mr. Morris's system and the strain he exerted while struggling with the police ultimately contributed to his death.
Okay, continuing.
The Arkansas State Police turned over their entire file, including the medical examiner's report, to the 20th Judicial District Prosecuting Attorney. After a thorough review, the prosecutor determined there was no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing by the Conway Police Department or the Conway police officers involved in this unfortunate incident. Now that the independent investigation has determined that officers did not cause Mr. Morris's death, an internal professional standards investigation will proceed in order to further review details of the case and determine whether there were any policy or rule violations. People may view aspects of this incident and be disturbed or uncomfortable. I understand. Use of force in any situation is uncomfortable and should always be analyzed to determine if things can be improved upon. In reviewing this incident, I recognize that there are things as a police department we can do better, and these are things that we will do better. In closing, I once again would like to express our sympathies to the Morris family and all others impacted by this unfortunate incident.
And that's it. Sorry, guys, our bad. You know, shout out to the family. Shout out to the fam. Just want to let you know we're thinking about you. Sorry for the fam and their loss. Okay, so here's the thing. As you can see, there's a lot of things that have happened. There's a lot of things that happened in that particular tussle. That was a full-on tussle. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Yes, you got to put in consideration. You definitely got to put into consideration the fact that, let's see, he was on the run. He was running. He was trying to break free. Definitely, there was a tussle. Definitely, there was a struggle going on. It was very hard to detain him. They needed to bring in several police officers to try to calm him down. So we could definitely put that in consideration all day or a day, okay? And I'm fully aware of that. Now, him getting tased that much, I don't know. If someone's saying my heart, my heart, my heart, See, the thing is like there's so many different factors. And I keep saying this, like even when we were talked about the woman that got thrown into the unmarked van in New York City, the plainclothes cops that grabbed and detained a woman right off the street, and they were throwing her inside of this unmarked van. And then all hell broke loose, right? And I kept on saying it is like the perfect storm of just a bunch of ish hitting the fan at the same damn time, right? Now, this is the same kind of situation, right? You know, maybe he's high as hell. He's out there trying to shoplift so he can eat. I'm not justifying any of that. He's committing a crime. He should get arrested. But then you also have to consider the fact that, okay, you're mixing those drugs in his body. Then also his heart is racing. He has those drugs in his body. He's also getting hit with tasers. And of course, that tussle. Then when he's on his stomach and he has finally been detained, you got to remember, he's been tased several different times. They're also, and you see in the video, there's a couple of guys with their feet on him. So understandably, I understand why that's a tactic, but the man is sitting there clearly saying he can't breathe. But it's because that's probably the most cardio he's done in years. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the most he's done in a very, very long time. His heart is racing. He's got drugs in his system. He's been tased multiple times. So then when you sit there and go, man, I can't breathe, he's literally trying to catch his breath and he's dealing with being tased. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that justifies anything. I'm not trying to justify what the cops did. But I feel like it's a trifecta. It's a combination of all kinds of stuff smashing into one, all coming into one moment that didn't need to really happen as it did. But at the same time, I understand that they need to have some sort of a force. If he's just going to run and fight with them, shoot, if he had a gun, if he had a knife on his side and everything, I mean, all that stuff that happened was terrible. But what I'd like to know is, because they say it's the methamphetamines and it's the drugs that were in his system, but really was it? Because if he was hanging out just, and say in another world where he didn't get stopped by the cops and he was shoplifting, would he still die later on that day, that night, or that day? Those are questions that you need to ask. Would he have died due to the methamphetamines and the drugs that were in his system later on that evening? Or no? He might have just enjoyed the food that he got, that he stole, and just kept it moving. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that what he did and the situation is not wrong. I mean, what he did was wrong, and he should have been arrested. Abso-freaking-lutely. But did he deserve to lose his life like that? So I leave that question up to you guys. Comment down below and let me know what you think, you know? Because I'd really like to know. And the thing is like I just read the first thing I saw down over here from Michael D. I could tell you all you need to know about the effects of drugs. I've overdosed and died, and that's some serious stuff, Michael D. And I'm happy that you've come back, and that you are in good spirits and you're healthy and you're alive today. So thank you so much for giving us that information. And you're right, but at the same time, it makes you wonder. Would he have OD'd? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this an effect of ODing? Or could it just be a trifecta, a perfect storm of BS that happened all at the same time? Like, he's on methamphetamines. He gets shot. He gets tased multiple times. He's out of breath. He's panicking. He's having a panic attack. Whilst all this stuff is going on all up inside his body. Then he's on his stomach and they have their feet on his back. And all he's trying to do is get a breath of air. It's something to think about. Something to think about. Malia, he was on his stomach for too long. Once restrained in handcuffs, we were instructed to sit the suspect up immediately to allow breathing. Not much he can do in handcuffs. See, now I think that too. Like they could have kept him. They could have detained him, got him like all, shackled up and everything. And they could have rolled him on his back. They could have even done that. Or they could have just sat him up and propped him up against the, one of the aisles or something like that. You know what I mean? One of the shelves. And maybe he'd still be here with us. You see what I'm saying? He'd still be on this planet. But those are certain, and I understand why the cops did it that way, because he was a scrappy son of a gun, and that he was getting up and he's trying to run and all that stuff. And I get that they feel like he could just take off again. But if they're keeping an eye on him, and they're all surrounding him, there's no way he's going to be able to get up and take off. If he has handcuffs, if he's handcuffed behind his back, there's no way he's going to be able to get up. It would take a lot of work. And if they saw him trying to do that, they would just easily put their hands on his shoulder and just shoved him back down. And maybe he'd still be with us. Or maybe being tased that many times and having the drugs in his system, causing his heart to race that quickly, may have been the cause of him having the heart attack, or, of him dying. You see what I'm saying? So, it's just something to inquiring minds would like to know. You know what I mean? Like I said, and I always say, there is no right answer in this. These particular moments are very sticky. These particular moments are very sticky. They didn't have their knee on his neck. They didn't have, from what I saw in the video, there's no knee on his neck. But, there was a moment where he basically said that he couldn't breathe. And he said, one of the cops said, if you can't breathe, if you can talk, you can breathe. And, that's not great stuff either. I'm going to pull up that moment real quick. One more again. Here it comes. There it is. Now, the thing is that I feel like, obviously, what happened with him happened in February. So this happened a little bit before the George Floyd incident. But at the same time, I do feel like we are in a time where we need to reapproach how people are getting detained. And more, I feel like they're looking at these. I'm hoping to God that they're looking at these videos. I'm hoping that they're looking at these clips, these videos, these moments of terrible moments, and realizing, hey, we do need to like reapproach things. We need to rethink how we approach detaining a criminal or a suspect. This is before that, and this is before George Floyd. Not saying that this is justifying anything, but I'm just saying, like, I'm hoping, it is terrible that he has passed. It's terrible that he died this way. It's terrible, but this is not how people should die. This is not the way people should die, period. Seriously, being able to even move after that many tasings is amazing. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Tanu Vane? Like, it's like, damn. Really, bruh? Like, you're still able to move around like that? For real? Damn. Like, it's impressive. I'd be out. Getting tased once, I'm done. You know what I mean? It's a wrap, son. But for some odd reason, he was able to get up, keep him moving and everything. That's wild. That's absolutely wild to me, you know? So yeah, a lot of drugs remove the blocks on your body, has on not using too much strength, the kind of strength that will actually tear your muscles. Some drugs not only dull the pain, but block your brain from knowing your body is dead, so it can still half function briefly. Wow, that's some interesting news. Grown man uses illegal drugs, commits illegal acts because of said drugs, gets into scuffle with police, stressing his cardiovascular system, dies, and somehow it's the cop's fault. And I see what you're saying. And Enemy Nation and Tano Vane, thank you so much for that comment as well. You know, and I see what you're saying. All I'm trying to say is that I keep looking at it as it is like the perfect storm of trash. It's the perfect storm of really bad things happening all at the same time. Now, he didn't have to run. Like, well, let's start off with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's start off with that right off the bat. He didn't have to run. Let's just keep it real. He didn't have to freaking run. He just needed to go and get arrested, and he'd still be alive today. You know? But then you wonder, him getting tased that many times, is that necessary? But then you go and look at the other stuff. He got tased several times, and he still was wrestling with those guys. He still was fighting. So at the end of it, it is on him. Unfortunately. All he had to do was just not run. That's all he had to do. To Doogie, it sucks that he ran, but understandable given his altered state, and maybe he had bad experiences in the past, so his fear would have been through the roof. Yeah, I mean, see, like, here it is. And I see what you're saying to Doogie. I mean, absolutely. No one wants to get arrested, man. Ain't nobody want to get arrested. No one wants to get arrested. Everybody's terrified of getting arrested. But let's keep it straight funky, though. When you get arrested, do you run? Like here it is. I understand the thing of, like, I don't want to go to jail. I understand the idea, like, getting arrested and going to jail is not a fun thing. Going to prison is another thing. That's another terrifying aspect of it all. But just going to jail, which would probably be him in there for a night and he goes out, and he'll be able to bail out and he'll be gone. He'll be out for the next day or at the end of that weekend, you know, depending on what day he gets arrested on, right? So if it's that, why book it? Why run for your life? What are you going to do? Like, what does that justify? You see what I'm saying? Where's the logic in that? There's no logic in that. None. You know, the mistake happened right off the bat when he booked. That's what it is. And I know, I mean, I can only imagine meth must be one hell of a drug. But at the same time, he's making those decisions himself. He's making that decision to go, hey, I'm about to get arrested. Oh, damn. Run for your life. Is that necessary? Is that really necessary? Chokeholds, when done properly, are effective and safe. John Caitlin, thank you so much for the comment. People need more. Police need more training, more pay. Defunding the police will only lead to more accidents. You know, so here it is. Yeah, the thing is okay. Surprise, surprise. I'm not one who's sitting here saying defund the police at all. I say restructure the funding of the police. That's what I think. That's what I think. More training sessions, more, you know, classes, more, you know, seminars, whatever, you know, more psych evals, You know, because we do have, like, as they say, a lot of bad apples. We do have some bad apples in the police force. You know, I'm not sitting here saying that all cops are bad at all, because I'm not going to sit there and say that. I've met a lot of amazing cops, a lot of amazing police officers, but I've also heard about some really bad police officers. I've dealt with bad police officers, you know, face to face, you know, but at the same time, I can't sit here and say that they're all bad. So when it comes to the defunding the police, I don't agree with that at all. I don't. I really think that they just need to start doing different training, or I feel like we're approaching a new era and there just needs to be new approaches to violent moments, to altercations, so that, because also at the same time, a lot of these police departments are starting to get sued and they're losing a lot of money because of said deaths. And what needs to happen is that they need to figure out what they're doing and do it the proper way. You know? So you're right. Chokeholds, when done properly, are effective and can be safe when you are when that responsibility is in the hands of the right type of cop. But then there's a lot of cops out there that are cowboys that get really riled up and they want to start, you know, they want to see action. You know, they're just one big testosterone, you know, one big bag of testosterone, and they just want to F things up. And we need to start finding a way to restructure that so that we can either weed those guys out or teach them the new ways of the samurai. At least that's what I think. Basically, your brain doesn't go, Tanavain says, basically your brain doesn't go into shock because you are dying like a normal brain would. Ah. Interesting. Let's see. Too often people confuse spirituality with religion. What? Okay, wait, hold on. Religion is still a worse drug than than any sold on a street corner. Yeah, that's a left turn conversation right there for sure. Could be parole, like that one guy that fell asleep. Wait, hold up. Every time I encounter cops, I just stand right in front of them and move slowly. I always take my keys out of my out if I get pulled over, so they don't think I'm trying to that I'll run. Could be parole, like the one guy that fell asleep in the drive-through, being taken in and losing parole from life or longer. You know, it's funny because that's the thing, like. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's still terrible. And yes, you know, this man, that Lionel shouldn't have died at all. It's a terrible situation, of course. But then at the same time, at the same damn time, he didn't need to run. He didn't need to cause a ruckus, you know? And it's kind of the same story with the gentleman that was in the drive-thru. It's still a terrible situation, and he shouldn't. I still truly believe that he shouldn't have gotten shot in the back. I still think that. I still do think that. And that's just my personal opinion. But he didn't. But it all started when he started to tussle with those cops. And that's when the mistake happened. He didn't need to tussle. Just like this gentleman, Lionel Morris. He didn't need to tussle with the cops. He didn't need to try to take off, try to see if he can get away with this situation scot-free. But I am thankful that he didn't get shot. I'm thankful that the situation was not a shooting situation. It was a mixture of drugs and, like I said, it's a trifecta of really bad things all happening at the same time. You know, but I agree, Tanavain, they do need more regular training and not just once a year or less. You're absolutely right. And there's some places that don't do that. Exactly. Man, you know, like, let's talk about cops for a second. Let's talk about it. Okay. No disrespect to any cops out there. You know what I'm saying? For all you guys out there that save people's lives, there's a lot of good cops out there. There's a lot of good cops out there. So I'm not trying to throw any shade on any cops. All right, on any good cops. But just going off of what Tanner Vane just said, the regular training, and not just once a year or less. There's some cops out there that I'm like, bruh, what? You're a cop? There's some cops out there that I feel are so out of shape. Like they've never, it seems as if they're not ready for action. They've never seen action. Can they even, you know what I'm saying? There's some of these cops that I feel like they did not get enough training for them to really just like, so that if ish really does hit the fan, you're going bang. Okay. We got the cops here. Yeah. Come on, man. Save our lives. There's some cops out there that literally never step outside of their cars. Have never ran more than 50 feet. And shouldn't they be like athletic, genetic freaks? You know, can run marathons and do CrossFit workouts every single day. You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't they be like soldiers up in this piece, ready for anything, you know? Within the confines of course, you know, knowing the good and bad and knowing when not to use excessive force and when to use when to use force. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, what's up, Alex Jones? Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, he said, Alex says, good evening, Pascal, Bristol, UK in here. Thank you so much for tuning in, brother. He says, I say take away some of the hardware they carry. You know what? That would be an amazing idea. But here's the thing. What's the hardware? The question I asked to you, Alex, is what is the hardware that we would let go? Like they would not have on them? Would it be the tasers? Would it be the gun? Would it be the nightstick? Would it be the handcuffs? No, I'm just playing. But what would it be? Real talk. What's the thing out of their arsenal that they could get rid of that you think that's going to help cause less death? Because here's the thing. George Floyd died from a knee. Like, you know, we could talk about the drugs that were in his system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he died from a knee on his neck. And a cop has a knee. 2 knees, hopefully. So what is it that they would get rid of in their arsenal that would cause less unjustified deaths? And I open that question up to everybody else as well as I go through these questions or to go through these comments. Agree, Tan. Oh, Malia. Agree, Tan. Chokeholds taken from behind to cushion the head and fall is effective, taking a suspect to the ground. We had 1 session on it and use it effectively. See, now, so that's the thing, Malia, like you had only 1 session on it, but I feel like it's something that you need to consistently, like, I feel like it's something that you have to consistently reapproach every time to make sure you're on point every single time. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? You know what I mean? Like, okay, like almost like every year there should be a test, I feel, going over certain holds, certain standard procedures, that it's just like you have to have these known by rote. You just got to know them. What do you got to do when you get pulled over? Blah, blah, blah. What are these, you know, because they all got to know all the code words and the, you know, 187s and the 420s and the da-da-da-da-da, you know, there's all those codes. They got to know those like it's the back of their hand. But what about the moves? What about the standard procedure of walking up and approaching either a suspect or a victim? You know, I feel like there should be training on that almost every year so that they are constantly sharp with it. You know, it's like they do like within the Like I know a couple guys in the Army Reserve, Air Force Reserve. They'll sit there and go, and every 6 months they're getting some sort of they're doing some physical test. You know, making sure that they can still do, you know, as many pull-ups as they can, or you know, I don't know the criteria of what their PT is, but they're still doing something to make sure that they are still physically able to be able to do the job if they need to do the job. So it's the same thing when it comes to being a cop. That's what I think. Let's see. It's all good. It's all good, Alex, that you missed the beginning. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. He shouldn't have been an addict. This is Michael D. He shouldn't have been an addict if he had just gotten up. If he gotten help a while ago, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, that's very true too. You know. That's the thing. Lots of people, Mr. T12. Lots of people. Desperate decisions have become their last. Yep. There is no hindsight there for them, unfortunately. Yep. You know, sorry, not Tanu Vane. Sorry, buddy. Tadugi said, I think it's worth having sympathy for him, given that he died. For argument's sake, how bad would have it been to follow him and approach the situation like he was in need of help? Not a wild animal. You know, actually, Tadugi, that's a very, very good question. That's a very, very good question. You know, that's a very good point. You know, and maybe if they approached it differently, it would have been a different situation. But like I said, I feel like there's a lot of things where it's like maybe there needs to be, and remember, and mind you, this happened in February, and I feel like they're starting to do a different approach to things now. I would hope, but I feel like they would have been like, hey, hey, buddy, I feel like it would have been different. I feel like the approach would have been a little bit different, and I also do feel that, and like I said, I'm not trying to be all like, pro blue or anything of that sort, but I feel that that particular Arkansas Police Department will now approach things a lot differently. That's what I think. That's what I truly think. So yeah. Oh, you got me trying this now? Yeah, it's good. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Sorry. My girlfriend just, woo, that's good. Right? Damn. Okay. I'm about to eat good here in about 5 minutes, y'all. Anyway, so here's the thing. Tadugi, you have a very, very good point. Maybe they could have approached him a different way, but then at the same time, it seemed like when he ran and they tried to get him, he started to tussle even more. Then he had a knife. He tried to pull out a knife on them. I mean, it just kept going and going and going, It's funny. Michael D. Facts. He just said facts. Cops is the only job where intelligence is a disqualification. And it's funny because you know what? There is a Michael J. White. If you know Michael J. White, he's a martial artist, actor, action star. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was also in The Dark Knight Rises, or not The Dark Knight Rises, just The Dark Knight. He was one of the henchmen in that movie and all that. He's been in a bunch of movies, but he did say something about how he was trying to get into the police department. He was trying to become a cop a long time ago, and they said no. They declined. They declined his application, and they were like, "You're too smart to be a cop." You know what? I'm going to try to find that video really quick because it's fascinating, y'all. Hold up real quick. Okay, this is a little bit longer than I'm going to try to get straight to the point here, but
right. But I'm saying,
Right.
look at the U.S. government.
Yeah.
How many billionaires do you think there is in the Senate, in Congress, and the presidential?
this is about to be a little sloppy, guys, so just roll with me on this because this is on the fly.
Maybe Trump is a billionaire. There might
This is
be
Michael
one
J.
or two
White.
Others floating around here and there. Lots of millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
How many billionaires are in U.S. government?
Don't know. And there was a thing where if you went to go be a capitalist, you tried to get money.
Okay.
You would. Man,
Come
that's
on.
the crazy rich Asian thing.
Right.
but a lot of people with a lot of insecurities, they have this thing. I mean, a lot of them love the superhero shit because they can vicariously live through that.
Oh, come on.
A lot of cops, their mentality.
There we go.
I mean, a lot of them are cool. I was almost a cop at one time. And
There
I
we
had
go.
a lot of friends who were cops. And man, I got something to tell you about that will, kind of get into the whole psychology of the whole thing. But yeah, man, these are average thinking people. There's not a lot of whole psychological things that go into being a cop. You can be a psychopath and get through becoming a police officer very easily, right? When my son Devin, I knew he was going to be born, and I was, focusing on the acting thing. I was like, I can't mess around. My son's about to come into this world. I got to have benefits. And so since I kind of was cool with some higher ups in the police force because I turned my life around, I was like, let me focus on, being a cop. I'm gonna be an exemplary officer, right, for a minute, because I knew I'd be good at it. I understand the predator thinking. I understand the criminal mind and everything else. I was kind of into that, and I hated bullies from my core anyway, right? So I was like, I think I could possibly do this, and so I took exams, everything, physical exam, aced it, broke a record for the police force. I'm like this close to going into the academy, get called in by the higher ups, thinking, oh man, they about to lace me because I'm doing great. I'm I had a super high score on the written and everything. And basically they were like, because of my affiliation with somebody who was like second in charge, we want to do you this favor. Right now we're supposed to tell you, thank you very much, we can't use you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Turns out, and I found this out for a lot of different police organizations, or it may be the majority, because I asked this question throughout my lifetime. What they told me was, your score was too high. If your IQ is too high, you're no good for the police department, because our research says you're not going to be challenged with this job, and you're more likely to be involved in corruption because the job. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me!
Wow.
And basically, they laid it out that, okay, I can go back to school, take some criminal courses or some certain courses, and go to internal affairs, possibly go Fed, or become Secret Service like my brother. And so I mean,
But your brother's in the Secret Service.
my brother's Secret Service, service agent, and I knew a lot about him. I was kind of hooked into that world a bit, and the whole law enforcement thing was kind of part of, something that I was kind of, playing with, and actually the reserve is something I've been, I was kind of, I'll get into that some other time, but the whole point is this, that to be a cop, the way I look at it, you got to be brainwashable.
Interesting. Now, I mean, obviously, not sitting here and saying this I'm not throwing this out here to throw any disrespect to anybody who is a cop. I'm just going to say that really quick. But I just find this part in what Michael D said here very interesting. And it brings up a lot of questions. It's like, why? Why that? But now this is just one man's testimony, if you will. This is only one man's account of dealing with, of applying and doing and getting rejected and, being, I guess, just having a high IQ and just, superseding everybody else. And it's kind of like, you should be you're highly way overqualified for this position type of thing. But it does make you think. It does make you wonder. But it also makes you wonder, why couldn't they start training for that? Why couldn't they be looking for guys that are on that literal, like on another plane, on that other level? You feel me? Instead of it just being one thing. So that's something very interesting that I saw like about a year ago, and I'm surprised I even remembered that. So thank you, Michael D, for that reminder. I really appreciate that, my brother. But I'm gonna look at this. Let's see, Malia, he would have been accepted here. Only the high-scoring applicants get accepted. If you pass the selection process and get placed in a pool, only the top of the pool get into the academy. Now, here it is, Malia. That's Australia. I'm just going to be straight funky with you. Your system and the way you guys do things over there are completely different from, how we do things in America. Same thing with Alex Jones that was, commenting from Bristol, UK, saying, hey, let's let go of certain things and put, let's let go of certain weapons, and that might, help in regards to certain, stopping from deaths from happening. But it's like, okay, that's the UK talking, and the UK has a different way of dealing with, their law enforcement, and how they make sure that their law enforcement is properly vetted. America is completely different, obviously. We're very big guns and, big guns and, action flicks almost. We want to, seems like when cops, like at least when I was a kid and I was like, I want to be a cop, I was like, I was thinking about diving over hoods of cars and, thinking I was going to be the next like Action Jackson kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, the approach of cops is different than what it is in other corners of the world, and I think it's a very interesting thing. How we approach the law here is different from how we approach the law, how they approach the law in Australia, how they approach the law in Germany, how they approach the law in the United Kingdom. It's very fascinating, And Amika is absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. America will never get rid of weapons, period. Not never. They will never, from my dead cold hands, right? NRA, all day. You know what I'm saying? We will never unlearn that part, which sucks, unfortunately. But, which sucks to a certain extent. I understand having the right to own your own gun. I totally understand that, totally. I understand the need of having a gun if you're a cop. I get that. But I could see maybe tailoring back, stepping back from having as many things. Maybe the tasers are the problem. Maybe that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe tasing somebody is what's causing people to have these cardiac arrests and dying. But then at the same time, I'm seeing people who are dying from just them getting arrested and them being face down on the ground with a cop having their foot on their back or their knee on their neck. And those are the things that I'm seeing. And those are God-given limbs. God gave us these things. I mean, I'd lift my leg if I was that flexible, but I'm not. So, you know what I'm saying? So there's something that we have to look at. You know, it's something that we definitely have to look at for sure, you know, as a country, and how we approach criminals, victims, suspects, protesters, something we have to look at and approach in a certain way, you know? But anyway, guys, that is the show for today. Or for tonight. I appreciate you all being on today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm very excited about tomorrow morning because I got some great stuff to talk about. We have somebody very special coming onto the show for an interview to talk about him and his heroic act that he did just earlier this week. It was pretty damn amazing. So yeah. Tomorrow is going to be a fantastic Friday, and it's going to be a positive one as well, where we are going to talk with this gentleman, talk about him saving this man from a burning car. It was caught live on video, and yeah, and his approach and his new step towards trying to do good with this new good vibe and this heroic energy that he has right now. So be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will be talking with him. And, of course, we'll be talking about all this other stuff. Trust me, because there's more stuff, more ish hitting the fan for sure. For sure. So, anyway, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the discussion. Please, if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button down below. And if this is your first time checking out this show, please hit that subscribe button. And we appreciate it. You know, I love the new friends. I love the new people that are part of the nation or part of the posse. You know, I'm on the fence if it's Pascal Nation or Pascal's posse. I'm kind of liking posse a little bit more, but it's something I'm working on. But anyway, love you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you guys at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.